You see, my dear, most of us were raised to believe that life is a kind of journey, a road with signs and milestones, and at the end of it, perhaps a shining reward waiting for us. We think that we must know where we're going, that every step must lead to some grand destination. But have you ever watched the way a tree grows? It has no plan. It simply unfolds. And yet, in that effortless unfolding, there is a kind of quiet perfection. You see, we human beings are strange creatures. We try to make life more purposeful than life itself. We imagine that the universe is waiting for us to justify our existence, to prove that we're worthy of the space we take up. But that's rather like the waves in the ocean trying to prove that they belong there. Waves don't ask permission to rise and fall, they simply do. And that, you see, is the wonder of living with no purpose. When you stop chasing after meaning, you begin to feel it everywhere. In the warmth of the sunlight on your skin, in the laughter of a child who doesn't yet know what tomorrow means, in the soft rhythm of your own breath, you discover that existence itself is the purpose. Now, this idea sounds terribly shocking to those who believe that life must be a task, a race, or an achievement. They say, but if I live without purpose, I'll become lazy, I'll drift away. Is a flower lazy because it doesn't know why it blooms? Is a bird aimless because it sings without a reason? You see, that's the beauty of it. Things that live most fully are not trying to live. You see, the more we try to force life into meaning, the more it slips through our fingers. The more we cling to certainty, the less alive we feel. And paradoxically, the moment you stop trying to be someone, you begin to feel the fullness of simply being. Now, imagine for a moment a still lake at dawn, mist drifting above it, a quiet hush over the world. If you look into that lake, the reflection is perfectly clear only when the water is still. But when you disturb it, when you throw a stone, when you stir it with worry and intention, the image shatters. So, to see life as it truly is, you must let the mind be still. And in that stillness, the purpose dissolves, and in its place arises something infinitely more alive presence. The trouble, my dear, is that we've been conditioned to live by comparison. We think that unless we're better than someone, or going somewhere, or becoming something, we are nothing. But life is not a competition, it is a dance. And in a dance, there's no goal. The point is not to reach the end of the floor as fast as possible, but to enjoy every step, every twirl, every note of the music. The point of the dance is the dance. When you live with no purpose, you don't become empty. You become spacious. You don't lose meaning. You find it overflowing in every moment. A leaf falling becomes sacred. A stranger's smile becomes holy. Even your pain, your confusion, your uncertainty, they all begin to shimmer with the strange beauty of being alive. You see, the problem with purpose is that it's always in the future. It tells you one day, when you've achieved this, then you can rest. But the secret is that you were never meant to reach the end, because there is no end. There is only this breath, this moment, this heartbeat, and the universe, playful, mysterious, has been dancing in circles forever. It never tires of the rhythm, never rushes to a conclusion. The stars are not hurrying to finish shining. The river does not struggle to arrive at the sea. And yet, everything finds its place perfectly. Everything belongs, not because it tries, but because it is. Now, some people say, but without purpose, how will we know what to do? And I say, you'll know what to do when the time comes. When the wind blows, the trees don't hold a meeting to decide how to sway. They move as the wind moves them. And in that surrender, there's a grace we've forgotten. You see, to live with no purpose doesn't mean to drift aimlessly. It means to trust the current. It means to realize that you are not separate from the flow. You are the flow. You are the dance of existence. Waves of consciousness rising and falling, each one unique, yet none apart from the sea. There's a quiet humor in this too, because we spend our lives trying to become something more. more spiritual, more successful, more awakened, when all along, the one who tries is the very illusion we're meant to see through. You can't become what you already are, and you are life itself. The sky doesn't try to be blue. The clouds don't try to be white. They simply appear and disappear in a dance of effortless transformation. And if you can live like that, without clutching, without defending, without forcing, you'll begin to notice something extraordinary. A deep ease, a quiet peace. The same peace that you feel when you stop running, not because you've arrived, but because you've realized there was nowhere to go. So, the benefit of living with no purpose isn't that you achieve peace as a reward. It's that you remember peace was never lost. It's here, now, in the space between your breaths, in the sound of this silence, in the gentle awareness that watches your thoughts drift by like clouds. Just imagine if every tree, every wave, every gust of wind needed to justify its existence before it could move. The world would be still, lifeless, but it isn't. It moves in freedom, in play, in pure spontaneity. That's how life intended you to move. Not with effort, but with ease. So stop for a moment. Breathe. Notice the stillness underneath everything. It's been waiting for you to return home, not to a destination, but to the ever-present simplicity of being. You see, my dear, when you start to live without a fixed purpose, something very curious happens. You begin to see that the world itself is playing endlessly, joyfully, and that you are never outside the game. The birds, the tides, the stars, all are moving in effortless participation, not toward an end, but in expression of what they already are. And perhaps that's what you are, too, an expression of the universe, a gesture of the cosmos. Most of our suffering, you see, comes from trying to force life to behave. We demand that it serve our ambitions, fit our plans, make sense according to our preferences. But life is far more intelligent than we imagine. It doesn't need our instructions. The river doesn't ask you where it should go. It already knows the way. And when you learn to trust that flow, you begin to discover a freedom that cannot be found in control. You realize that purpose, the kind you were taught to seek, is a kind of cage. It divides time into before and after, turning the living present into a stepping stone. But the present is not a step. It's the dance floor itself. And the music has been playing all along. There's something so tender about that recognition. To see that you've been running after meaning, when meaning was quietly walking beside you, hand in hand, in every breath, every laugh, every tear. Living with no purpose doesn't mean rejecting responsibility or drifting into apathy. It means realizing that your deepest responsibility is to love, to care, to see arise naturally when you are present. When you're not fixated on why am I here, you begin to see what here actually is. You begin to hear the sound of wind through leaves, to feel the pulse of life moving through you, and then you notice that you are not separate from any of it. You're not standing outside the world observing it. You are the world observing itself. You see, my dear, every time you stop to notice, you are fulfilling the very reason life brought you forth. Awareness is the act of existence recognizing itself. That's all this is, the universe playing a game of hide and seek, pretending not to know itself so that it can rediscover its own face in yours. But the ego, that clever trickster, whispers, no, that can't be enough. It says you must do something important, something lasting. And yet everything that truly matters is fleeting: a kiss, a sunset, a laugh shared with someone you love. They vanish like ripples on a pond, and yet they leave everything changed. There's no permanence to chase, because you, like everything else, are part of this continuous unfolding. You are not a traveler on a road. You are the road itself, forever being walked. And when you see that, you can finally stop searching for the map. This, you see, is the essence of peace. Not the absence of movement, but the absence of resistance. To flow with what is, without demanding that it be otherwise. To laugh at your own seriousness and realize that the universe has always been a magnificent joke. And what a joke it is that you spent so long trying to become what you already were, that you searched the skies for meaning when the stars were shining within you all along. And once you get the humor of it, truly get it, a great ease fills your being. You stop taking yourself so seriously, and in that very moment, you become lighter than air. Now, imagine walking through a forest, the sunlight filtering through the branches, the sound of water somewhere in the distance. There's no rush, no goal, no schedule. Each step is the purpose of walking. Each breath is the purpose of breathing. And for the first time, you feel yourself completely alive, not doing life, but being life. This is what it means to live with no purpose. Not nothingness, but fullness. Because when there's no demand on the moment blossoms. You begin to see the sacred hidden in the ordinary, in the way light falls on a wall, in the silence after laughter, in the gentle beating of your heart. When you give up the question, what am I supposed to be doing? You start to notice what is already being done. Life is breathing you. The universe is dreaming itself as you. And what a magnificent dream it is. And sometimes, when you sit quietly enough, you can almost feel the pulse of that great rhythm. The rhythm that moves galaxies and tides and thoughts alike. It doesn't tell you what to do. It simply invites you to listen, to move as it moves, to rest when it rests. And in that listening, your life begins to play in harmony with all things. So, perhaps the real benefit of living with no purpose is that you begin to live as nature intended, spontaneous, effortless, free. You start to act not because you should, but because the action arises by itself, like laughter when something is truly funny, and that's when your life becomes art. Not a project, but a living poem. You see, the artist doesn't paint to finish. He paints because he loves to move the brush. The dancer doesn't dance to reach the end of the song. She dances because she is the music. And when you live that way, every breath, every moment, every gesture becomes a brushstroke of eternity. Stop for a moment. Notice the silence that holds these words. Notice the awareness that hears them. That awareness is what you are. It needs no purpose, because it is the source of all purposes. And perhaps, my dear, this is the most beautiful realization of all, that there was never anything missing. You don't have to justify your existence. You don't have to prove your worth. You are not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. And when you truly see that, you can laugh, a deep, joyous laugh that comes from the belly, because you understand, at last, that you never needed to be anyone else. You are the wave returning to the ocean, the breath returning to silence, the thought returning to stillness. There is no destination, only this eternal now, rising and falling, playing and resting, without purpose, without end. So live, just live. Let life happen through you. Be as the sky wide, untroubled, infinite. Be as the sea moving, reflecting, ever new. And when you forget, as you surely will, stop, breathe, and remember, you are already home.